Yeah, I think so. Absolutely, absolutely. I think design brings in that completeness. It qualifies that space to generate, wealth.
Extraordinary, I don't see design as a something in some castle in the air kind of logic. This is the big idea kind of thing. I see design as intervention. And intervention is what is going to. In India, you cannot have solutions. You can only intervene because the rest of the problem is too big to crack.
Design does matter. We tend to look at art and design as some kind of a luxury. But actually you think about societies who struggle for survival as most precarious. You look at rural societies, you look at tribal societies, they are highly embedded in art in terms of the way they decorate their walls, in terms of the artifacts they make. It's only people who struggle for survival somehow is not so precarious and they say that art is a luxury. So I think we need to connect to the fact that art is actually something very fundamental to survival. That's the way we are as humans.
Today we are looking at is technology pushing it? Yes. Is tradition culture pushing it? Yes. But where will the fusion come? I feel it is now time for each of us as an architect or as a creative person to slowly find an identity true to this soil and to this origin.
Personally, I don't believe in any style as such. Finally, you try to do good architecture.
Even analogically speaking, I would say you could akin this entire approach to something like a game of Sudoku.
If an edifice is existing on one particular part of a street or a fabric, and it is complete only when you almost don't even look at it when you pass by. If it is so non-visible, it's non-screaming kind of an act, then in some way that urbanity becomes complete because it's so well, networked with the rest of the community.
City is a collection of buildings over a period of time. As an individual, you have to behave as though that you are acting in a team. You are in a collective realm. Somebody else has designed a building. You have to either respect or give, at least take into account what has happened surrounding you. It's completely lacking in the Bangalore community of architects. That may be because that as students or academic, we are not sensitizing them to the urban issues or design issues in an urban environment.
I will not call them conflicts. There are problems in these areas. When you deal with each other, there are problems. And all problems have solutions. If you are interacting with a wealthy builder, lobby, and he wants to maximize his profit, you have to sit with him on a dialogue one-to-one. We are able to, come out with solutions which are acceptable to him as well as to us. It is possible to create such solutions.
The kind of relationship which was there 10 years ago is not happening today. We see in many projects the builder dominated. In some projects the owner dominates. And in some projects the artists dominate. Ideally, no one should dominate. It should be a scenario where there is a collaborative effort between the three people, only then the best of the lot really happens around.
It's like a B-grade Bollywood film, where it's like, hey, ye dal de, it will work. They don't want to think more than that. Why should they? They're making X amount of money. He'll tell you directly, dimag nahi kharab karne. You don't have to do all this. I want it fast. Put these few elements. We are done.
Why don't you ask me which are the biggest 100 challenges? Don't ask me only one challenge. I will say communication. I use the word communication because I am not doing all buildings for myself, design for others. We need to understand them. Then there's a builder. The builder has a supervisor. Supervisor has a mason. Mason has a... it's like a...
I think it would be not finding architects to work for you.
The staff that you get to work with, it's a bad scene, I tell you. I don't know what they're teaching in colleges, and there is, I think that the students also, they just look for that degree and come out. And then when they work in an office, that's when they start learning.
I guess the intent
intent from the clients.
Your ability to convince client to do something what you believe in. So that's the basic difference between an artist and an architect, because as an artist you can just do something and forget about it. You just do what you want to do. But when it comes to architecture, you have to convince a client to do something good.
From our point of view, we would definitely say over interference from a client.
The balance between what we think the project should be about and what we think the project should do, and meeting the client's requirement. Because many times, even though there shouldn't be, there is this sort of opposition between the two.
Is how do you make a client understand that you're on his side?
I think the biggest issue is learning how to put forward the value that design provides.
Architecture education in Bangalore should be scrapped. And I see kids who come and work in our office all so confused basically because they just don't know what to do. They just want to finish 50 architecture and get into a call center.
I think it's in a dismal state. Basic grounding in the idea of good design and the approach to good design is not very rampant across the schools. But what has happened is these practices are good. I mean, across the country there are reasonably good practices. So when the students train, when the students get absorbed here, their learning curve is very, very fast. So they have sort of, so there is a sort of fail-safe mechanism, or there is a check that things don't go really berserk and really wrong.
Mine wasn't a conscious decision at all. I thought it was all about sketching and design and colors and things like that. I really didn't know what architecture is all about. I mean, after I joined the course, after 2 years actually, I got to know how sensitive an architect should be to the city, to surrounding, to everything. So that sort of appeals to me right now. I mean, I can contribute something. I mean, that's what's interesting me right now, to continue architecture.
See, the problem is that it's back into bureaucracy and academic sequences which has been established some years ago and has not been investigated right, and they still want to live on that and use that as a weapon. There is no participation of active architects from the city into these academic realms because the bureaucracy kills it. So frankly, if something has to be changed, it's best to just shut all of them down.
But still there's not enough academia and real world practice. The bigger architects are not coming there.
The solution is really our schools.
Oh.
It's to do with schools, it's to do with academia, it's to do with faculty. It's about, I think it's at that level, that you create a new sort of consciousness about the public good.
Architecture is something that's inhabited day after day after day, so we have to think about how design provides value over time also. So I'd like to use the term the aesthetics of absorption. We tend to be obsessed with the aesthetics of expression, the first impact, and we need to think of an aesthetics of absorption, about how the space is inhabited, how memories are created when we inhabit the space, and therefore how value accrues over time.
Design decisions are not linked with how do we construct. It should be linked with how do you want to live.
Elements of sustainability. Just talk about that. Let's say you're giving him every single cycle, your electrical cycle is closed, your water cycle is closed, your cement cycle is all closed. So once you're actually harnessing all of this, I think you can make affordable buildings. High quality affordable building. I think that's not a problem.
We really don't believe in the wrapper. So we actually believe in the content. So you start designing from inside out rather than from outside in.
As an architect, I need to celebrate space first. Space making becomes extremely important, whether from within or from outside.
And I still sort of believe in Corbusier's sort of observation that the plan is a generator of space. Because it allows you to ponder and reflect what it is to occupy space and move through it.